Morning guys, I'm Dave Canterbury with the Pathfinder School, and what I wanted to show you today was a real simple solution for a forged trammel. And it's called a chain trammel. And you can use this trammel to adjust your pot on the fire over several inches. And it's very, very easy to make. It consists of a piece of chain, a hook, and a hook for your tripod. So you got 3 pieces here, and you just move this down in links, and it adjusts how high or low your pot is on the fire very, very easily like that. It's a very secure system. It works really, really well, and it's very easy to duplicate with simple blacksmithing tools. So that's what we're going to make today. Stay with me. Okay, we don't need a whole lot for this project, guys. We've got a piece of chain here. That's just an old piece of trap chain that's about 11 inches long. And then I have a piece of scrap octagon stock that came from a scrap yard. I mean, this thing doesn't weigh anything, so I know it didn't cost me anything. I got a whole pile of this stuff for like 10 bucks. And then when I mean a pile, I mean a pile. So what we want to do is we want to cut, first of all, we want one piece of this for our hook. It's going to go on top of this to our tripod, and that piece is going to be about 4 inches long, drawn out and turned into a hook. And then we're going to want another piece that's going to be about that much longer than our chain. That's going to be our chain hook and our pot hook when we turn it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here and mark this about as long as I think I need it and cut that off. And then I'm going to mark another 3-inch piece on here and cut that off. Actually, I'll make that piece 6 inches. Alright, so here's our pieces cut. This is going to be our hook for our pot. This is going to be the hook that goes to our tripod and our piece of chain. We don't have to do anything with this piece of chain right now, so we can just set it aside. I'm going to get this stuff heated up and ready to forge. Okay. I'm going to use the simple tools today. What I'm going to do is flatten the front of this out a little bit. And put a little bit of a fancy curl on this other one. Just kind of nosing it over a little bit all the way around to get it semi-pointed. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. And just kind of create a little bit of a fishtail right there on the edge of my anvil, just like that. All right. Now we're ready to start working on our hook. We're just going to beat that dude right over the top of this horn, keeping it close to the end here, just like this. Bring it all the way around, about like that. Then we're going to heat the other side up and do the same thing. Okay, now we want to close the larger bend of this hook around our chain. Alright, so now we're going to come on the opposite side of that fishtail. Bend this around just like we did the first time. We want to exaggerate that bend just a little bit. We're going to pull that fishtail back here in just a minute. Okay, so now we've got our piece of chain. Grab this hook and we'll just lay it in this chain, just like this. And then we'll grab our small pair of ring pliers here and just turn that down, just like that. Trap that chain. At that point we can cool that part down in water or oil, but I would recommend oil because water will make it brittle. Now, back to this. Now we're going to take that fishtail and we're just going to kind of roll it outside, just like this. Just to make it a little fancy. And then we can chase everything easy enough with these ring pliers. That's the beauty of these things. Get that straightened right back up. Might heat that up just a little bit more. Get that fishtail turned a little bit harder. Then we'll go to the other side. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab onto this so I'm not bending this hook while I'm bending this fishtail. Those pliers do a pretty good job of rolling that stuff over, as long as you got it nice and hot. Just a little bit. Now we can cool this end down and then heat the other end up. Again, oil. Okay, all we want to do with this end is just draw it out to a point. So we go square first. If I push, as I'm hitting it, it'll draw that metal out a little bit faster for me. Doesn't have to be a real sharp point, just going through a chain link. Now we want to bend that in the opposite direction of our hook. Okay, we're going to use both of our sets of pliers for this. We got our flat jaws and the ones that we use all the time. The ones that we use all the time, we're going to grab this with about where we want to bend it. Flat jaws are going to do the bending. We want to go a little past 90 with that bend. Now we're just trying to make everything straight. Make sure we don't have any severe bends in anything. Oil. Okay folks, so for today's project, we really used the simplistic tools. The chain was cut with a cold chisel and a hammer. We could have used a hacksaw to cut the chain with as well. I used good old standby hammer. Somebody asked me how heavy this thing was the other day. I think it's about a 2-pound head. We used our 2 pairs of pliers and our ring pliers, and something heavy to pound on. Didn't have to be this anvil. Could have been a piece of railroad track. Could have made this project just as easy, and you could have turned those circles very easily using these ring pliers and another pair of pliers to turn them around, and smack that circle towards you with a hammer while it's hot. It'll all work. But if you've got a horn, that just makes making turns that much easier. So when we're done with our project, this is what we've got. We've got the hook for our tripod here. We have our extension hook here and our chain, and we can move that extension hook down an inch at a time pretty much because we have 1-inch chain lengths here. The length of this chain all the way to the bottom if we choose to. Just like that. So you've got quite a bit of adjustment there from the top to the bottom, and your chain rests just outside your hook, and that's what you want. When this thing's fully adjusted up, you want this chain to rest right there at the bend on that hook, just exactly like this one is right here. This project does not take much time. 15 minutes, a half hour, you can have this done. But it's a really good beginner project, and it's a real useful item around the permanent camp. Well, folks, I appreciate you joining me out here today for another video in our blacksmithing series. I thank you for your views and your support. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, for our business, for all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends. I'll be back in another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.